Colorado State Patrol is investigating whether a guardrail on I-70 failed when a snowplow went through it last week, crashed into a van carrying a youth hockey team, killing the driver, one of the dads. Our Evan Krugel went to the crash site looking for more answers and found nothing to stop another crash there.
Colorado's interstates are filled with protective barriers designed to keep drivers from crossing over medians and into oncoming traffic. Most are made out of concrete or steel, but on I-70 near the Eisenhower Tunnel, a cable barrier now rests on the ground. 5 days after a snowplow crossed over the median, killing the driver of a van carrying a hockey team from California.
We are very, very fortunate. It could have been much worse, and luck is not a safety strategy.
Steve Eimers is now known as the guardrail guy after losing his daughter Hannah in a guardrail-related crash 10 years ago in Tennessee. He says more and more communities are turning to these cable barriers, mainly because they cost less than half of a concrete one.
Cable barrier has revolutionized roadside safety in that it can be deployed quickly and relatively inexpensively in rural communities.
CDOT shared this video a few years ago, showing the barriers catching cars and even slowing down a semi-truck. It remains unclear if this cable was maintained properly before the crash, because CDOT won't tell us. But we found loose or grounded cable for hundreds of feet near the crash site today.
If the cable is loose or lying on the ground, it is non-functional. It cannot do its job, and that entire area is at that point vulnerable to a crossover collision.
CDOT would not answer any of my questions about that cable barrier today, citing that ongoing investigation by State Patrol. Eventually, after asking multiple times about the status of that repair, a spokesperson did tell us they are, quote, working to repair the guardrail as soon as possible. Kyle?
And I guess the question, Evan, is whether that device, fully functional, would have stopped the out-of-control snowplow.
Yeah, that's the big question here. Hopefully something we find out as that crash investigation unfolds. CDOT released video showing semi-trucks being stopped by these types of barriers. But of course, there are a lot of things involved here with a snowplow, potentially fully loaded snowplow going through it. That's the big question. Would that barrier or any barrier have been good enough to stop that?
Evan Krugel, thank you.